The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy. Coming up on tonight's show, we have a special show for you. We've got previewing the Wrexham game. We have a few guests coming on, a couple of podcasters from Wrexham. We've been on their shows this week. They're going to come on ours. And they're going to tell us all about the Hollywood team, the Disney Plus team that we're all waiting to see on Saturday at the CBS. There's a jam-packed show tonight. We've got a launch of the unofficial CCFC Legends board game, a date confirmed for that. I'll talk to you about that later on. We've also got a special announcement about the Family Zone, so we'll announce that a little bit later on. And also, we had a competition this week to win some calendars and a Sky Blue Fans TV mug. And Ken will be joining us and giving us all the winners about that one too. Now, if you do want one of these neon signs behind us, please go to neonnow.co.uk. You can put in our special code, which gives you a discount across the whole range of Neon Now signs. Just use SBFTV10. And you can get exclusive discounts on the whole range, not just the football range, the whole range. So let's get the show on the go. And we're waiting for the old Wrexham fans to join us. But until then, we're going to bring in Ken Stewart. Good evening, Ken.
Good evening, Miles. How are we? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Just recovering from this week. It's been a bit mad, to be honest with you, mate.
It has.
It's Tuesday night. Yeah, it's just been mental, isn't it?
Yeah, great night Tuesday night at the fans forum at the Sky Blue Tavern. Brilliant night. We met Jake Bidwell and young Callum Doyle, who was very impressive. But yeah, it's a good night, and I think the fans enjoyed it, and we did, didn't we? It was a late night, so especially with me being on early this week, so it was a late night.
Yeah, it definitely was, wasn't it? And I know you're up early, aren't you? You're up about 5, aren't you? Or half 4, is it?
About 4:15, 4:45, I get up, yeah. So it was quite late before we left there. So, but it was a good night. It's well worth it, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good night, weren't it, mate? To be honest with you,
anybody who wants to listen back as well, they can obviously listen back or watch back on our YouTube channel how the night went. We've got a recording of the evening there and the questions that were asked, so they can always watch back and if they missed it.
Well, Glenn's just popped up. I didn't really want to say this, but I'm going to say it. Yeah, we didn't know, did we? But Callum Doyle,
yeah,
he's a Man United fan.
Yeah, he revealed that, didn't he, in the interview? Yeah, which got a bit of a shock from the audience. Yeah.
You can't believe place of Man City and a Man U fan. I mean, that just doesn't happen, does it? Listen, we got a Wrexham fan in here already. Kai Roberts. Good evening, Kai. Wrexham. We can't wait, mate. We're buzzing. We're absolutely buzzing for it. Now, listen. We promised we'll have some guests on tonight, and we have. We've got Nathan coming on from Rob Ryan Red. Now, we were hoping to get Ryan Reynolds or someone on, but they never replied to our messages. But it's just one of those. But do you know what? These lads are brilliant. I was on their podcast on, I think it was Tuesday. If you want to listen back, please head over to their channel. Rob Ryan Red, you can get them on Spotify, you get them on Twitter and everything. They're absolutely superb. Got thousands and thousands of followers. We're quite new to this, so we're growing. So if you are new to us tonight, please like and subscribe. Sky Blue Fans TV on Twitter, Facebook, also on YouTube. So let's introduce Nathan. Good evening, Nathan.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Good evening, Nathan. All right.
Ken, Miles, and appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. You've given me a big intro. I think you may have, I'll forgive you. I think you may have confused us with the very good Fearless in Devotion podcast, which I believe you were on.
I was on yours as well,
all about...
Tuesday. Wasn't I? Was it yours Tuesday?
No, you were not.
Oh,
but,
no,
I mean,
sorry.
I wish you were. but there you were.
Yeah,
You were
sorry,
not.
mate.
But
Sorry.
it's all right,
Sorry.
mate. Well, I'll allow it. You wanted Ryan Reynolds, so you got me here now instead. That's the next best
Well,
thing.
we
I
got
think,
Rob,
mate.
Ryan, Red.
You got three. You got three of them. Yeah. No, we're buzzing. Yeah. I'm coming up. Never done Coventry before. New ground for me. 4,500 away fans. It's going to be great. And no kind of. It just looks like a belting away in for us. No kind of pillars or anything to ruin it for us. It'll be a good atmosphere. We've got the drum going. Manny, the lad who does the drum, Manny. Yeah, it'll be. And I don't know. I've had a lot of ex-Wrexham players. I won't name. There's a lot of ex-Wrexham and Coventry, and a few of them said, Coventry part of their strongest team, you'll get battered. But I'm pretty sure you're not going to put out your strongest team, so we've got a chance.
No, well, I don't think we will, but I think there'll be a few changes. But we haven't got that many actually fit, so they might be forced to play a few, the ones that you probably don't want to play, because we've got quite a few injuries at the minute. So that's the only reason they will play, probably maybe a couple of the ones that are in the first team at the moment, because we've got so many injuries. You might be forced to do that.
Yeah,
I'm just seeing in one of the comments there that there's a Coventry fan living in North Wales. That will be hellish, because if we beat Coventry, I think it'll be the bars might run dry back in Wrexham. It doesn't take much. We don't need much of an invitation, but it's we haven't had many third round trips actually. We think about it. We had Stoke a few years ago. We went 1-0 up against them, and they had to bring on their big guns to see us off. The big old Wrexham. And then about a decade ago, we played Brighton and took them to a replay, and our captain at the time missed a penalty in the shootout, and one of them. So we took them all the way. So hopefully we don't get a replay. I'll be honest. I hope it's settled on Saturday, and I hope all the Americans and everyone watching on ESPN are celebrating us beating a former winner. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Now listen, I've got a question for you. How did it all start for you guys with your podcast and everything? Because you got over 15,000 followers, haven't you? I think, is that right?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, crazy. Silly, really. It's just if Tom Hanks ever buys Coventry, then you'll be in a similar boat to us or anyone like that. But I've known Rich, who I do it with, years. We met in university, and both went to Manchester. And as you do, you get chatting in the pub. Who do you support? I thought he was winding me up when he said he also supported Wrexham. And we always said we wanted to do it. And I have to be honest, watching Wrexham in recent years kind of been a labour of love. It's not been very, it's not been very fun. And you could see the enthusiasm, and a lot of people was dwindling. Once we got wind of the takeover, we were like, we have to do this because someone else will do it. And 100 episodes later, we're still going on. And it's been, as you guys know, it surprises us every week how many people listen to podcasts and listen to us drone on about Wrexham for an hour. But it does, and people like it, and they're really, we try and get a lot of stuff like this done because they're really interesting and influential. And we don't know. I haven't watched Coventry, so I've been listening to people talk about Tavares and how he's gonna shred Aaron Hayden and all these other defenders, and how he's the second coming of Lionel Messi and all that. So we'll see. You know what? No, joking aside, it's they're really interesting and insightful because we don't know about the opposition team. So Callum O'Hare being out sounds like a massive boost for us because he sounds like a brilliant player. But I don't know. I'm refusing to go to Coventry and not have some belief that we can turn you over. I wouldn't make the trip if I didn't believe it. So let's see. I'm confident.
I mean, we're thinking about the game going into this game. A lot of people are not going, unfortunately, and we think that a lot of Premier League teams disrespect the cup, and but us guys, I think I speak for Ken and I and my lad and quite a few of us. We're looking forward to this, seeing Wrexham. It's going to be good because we've seen a lot of you. We've seen a lot of you on Disney Plus. You're flying high in the Vanarama National League, and it's between three of you. I think it is, isn't it? I think Notts County, yourselves, and is it Chesterfield? Is it
Chesterfield? You're right. You've done your homework. It's good. I'm impressed.
And there ain't a lot of points in it. And you've got Chesterfield, and Chesterfield's got Notts County this month, and you've got Notts County this month, haven't you?
Indeed,
so it could open it all up.
It'll probably take 100 points, and we still think back to getting 98 points in 2011, 2012, didn't go up, and truth be told, before the takeover, we never recovered from that. We never recovered from 98 points. But look, both of us would take the promotion over an FA Cup run. As great as the FA Cup is, I'd love a cup run. I'm big on the cups, but you guys know that you've got to keep believing you can still get in the playoffs and have a go at the Premier League, even with all the uncertainty Mark Robins looks like from the outside. He's doing a brilliant job. I spoke to Lee Fowler and Andy Morell for our podcast this week out today, and they were saying, and obviously Big Den as well is there, and we love Big Den, but saying Robins, given the circumstances, doing a brilliant job. So you'll still believe you can have a go at the playoffs. We definitely want to win the title because our playoff record is horrendous, and we'll see. But this weekend is what it is. It's a free hit. All we've heard all season is Wrexham have got a League One squad, League One players. If that's true, we shouldn't get served. Basically, we shouldn't get absolutely turned over. If that's true, and these players are what we're paying them and what they are, it should be a belting game. I think it'd be a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, it's down to on the day, isn't it? With FA Cup, I mean, anybody can beat anybody on the day. If you're not up for it for whatever reason, no matter how good you are, if you've got like 6 or 7 players playing below power, that then not up to the standard they should be playing, then you'll get turned over. No matter how good you are, it's down to on the day. So we've got to be up for it. We've got to be on the ball, and we've got to respect Wrexham when they come over to our place, and we've got to do that. And if from one moment, if the players go out there thinking it's an easy game, then they will get turned over.
You don't want to get turned over on Disney Plus because you'll be on the documentary for sure. Then, if you definitely want to secure your spot on Disney Plus, you get beat, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen a lot of ups and downs over the years. I went to Sutton United away, way back, in the 80s when just after we won the FA Cup. Stood on a grass bank and watched us get beat at non-league Sutton United. So, and we'd only just won the FA Cup 2 years before that. So, it does happen. It does happen if you're not up for it on the day. And obviously, if things need to go for you need a little bit of luck sometimes, and anything can happen on the day. So that's the love of football, isn't it? And that's why we love it so much.
Yeah, I've got a question here for you. Actually, we've got a comment coming. This one's coming from officially Flame Esports team. How good a standard is the National League nowadays, and would you trade the cup tie defeat for promotion?
Would I trade I would happily take a battering by Coventry if it meant we got up. This is our 15th year in the National League. There's kids taking their GCSEs that have never seen Wrexham in the Football League, and that just kind of turns your stomach now. So we've had enough of the National League now, and we can't really grow as a football club in terms of. Yeah, we've grown massively since the takeover. You just look at, like you said, about our podcast has done. Yeah, it's all down to the American interest and all that sort of stuff. But really, we have to get out of the league to have any chance of progressing in terms of up and up. So I would, if Tavares wants to go nuts and score a hat trick or something, then good on him, and we get beat. Fair enough. I just want us to have a good go. Don't disgrace ourselves. Actually, have a go. Go full strength, and what will be. But I think, to be honest, people would trade the Coventry game for a win on Tuesday against Bromley. That's a massive game at home in the league. And then the standard of the National League, I would say the bad teams in the National League are very bad. Hence why you're going to get 5-0, 6-0, 7-5, 6-5, those kind of games. But I would say the top 4 or 5 in the National League could compete in League Two. That's what I would say. So I'm not going to come on here and say, there's not much between Coventry and Wrexham. If you put your first team out, you should absolutely serve us up. I'll probably pronounce his name wrong, but Gyökeres or, if he played, we're not going to have a striker. Not going to have a striker come against our lot. As good as our defence is, that would be next level. We think Paul Mullen's good, and this guy's what you want 20 million and probably will get it from a Premier League team. So he surely won't play, which is good news for us. But I don't know. I'm just interested to see how you take it, because Big Den obviously knows all about Wrexham. So it's not like you'll go into it, short of ideas of what it will mean to us in terms of, 31 years since we beat Arsenal and all this sort of yada yada. So hopefully a belting tie with a lot of goals. That'd be good fun. And then we can all kind of go about it, and we'll make a lot of noise, hopefully.
Well, you touched on that. You've been in the National League now for 15 years. I mean, we've been out of the Premier League for 21.
Yeah.
You know, it's massive. That gap to even claw it all the way back and try and get yourselves back in there.
Yeah.
You know, we us ourselves, if we look at it that if you know, we hadn't have beaten Notts County in the playoff final, you know, semi final. So if we hadn't have beaten Notts County in the two-legged semi final, we could be where they are now. We could be in your league because they went straight down after. You know, they lost that semi-final to us because
they never recovered, did they?
No, and that could have happened to us, and that's how we look at it now, and we feel where you're coming from. You know, to be out of a league where you were in you know, top flight football for a long time. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? I mean, us fans, we all know that, we all suffer, and I think the owners that come in, they don't really understand what we go through, especially our owners. But your guys, I just want to ask you. My key thing about the documentary with Disney Plus was how impressed I was with Ryan Reynolds, and that where they've come in, they wanted to buy the club, they came and met the fans, they came and met the supporters group who owned the club at the time, and they sat down, spoke to them, understood exactly what the fans wanted from the club, and those guys really sort of took on board what you all wanted and how you wanted the club to go forward. And that was absolutely fantastic because they came in and they said, right, we're going to do this, 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 and this. We're going to get you out the league. It didn't happen the first year round, but, you know, they went and you had a new pitch laid and they went and spent 500,000 on another pitch because it wasn't right. That's what you call owners. And do you think they'll still be there next season if you don't go up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I get a lot of messages, and I work with a lot of people who say, "Oh, you know, 2 years of a documentary, and then you'll be back to square one." I honestly think they'll be in it for a good few years yet, and I'm seeing some messages in the chat about will they be there. I don't think they will be at the game, which would be a shame. I thought they might have done, but a conversation I had at Solihull has kind of put me off that idea now, which is a bit of a shame. But they've really got it, and as a Wrexham as a place, and I have to admit I was a little bit nervous about the documentary and kind of how much they would big up this idea that Wrexham is this really poor place and has got nothing going for it, and the people and all that sort of thing. And they didn't do that. They didn't try and make it seem absolutely awful, and they've come riding in on their horses to save us. So I'm just amazed by the reaction of people that are flying all over the world to come to Wrexham. You know, I know people get messages all the time, people saying they're getting a passport for the first time to come to Wrexham. So it is mad. Honestly, it really is. Blows my mind every day when I see people from the far-reaching parts of the world, you know, asking me if there's a spare ticket to Wrexham Maidenhead or something. It doesn't make any sense. And you know what? I've thought a lot about this before I was coming on. A friend who's a Macclesfield fan, they've obviously had their little BBC documentary and things. You lot should have a documentary. I mean, you've got that much going on. You wouldn't be short of stuff for the episodes. You lot would have a couple of seasons easily secured. No, in all seriousness, you know, that would make for entertaining TV. And it's, you know, I don't know. You've watched it. You've enjoyed the Wrexham one. Football fans love that sort of stuff. And it's been a massive success for Wrexham. You have to say it's put us on a map that we couldn't have even dreamed of.
And you touched on the comment about Ryan Reynolds and that going to be at the game, and you said you don't think they are. Is there a reason behind that? What was the conversation you said you've had it so long?
What can I say? I had a conversation with one of the executives, and they said if it was Man United, they might have come over. Obviously, their schedules are very busy. Hey, look, that's not. I think if it had been a Premier League team, they'd have come as well. What I would say is I've had many of these conversations where they've thrown us off the scent, and because you know what we're like, we'd put out that they said they're coming, and suddenly, you know, you've got people doing flight trackers and all sorts to, I don't know, Birmingham Airport or whatever, and they'll get mobbed and all sorts. So, you know, they're not the most forthcoming with that kind of info for us. But am I still there? What's happening to my? You're still there, and we'll see. I think whatever it is, they'll be watching, and there'll be some jibes at Coventry and maybe the next FIFA, because they've had a go at Liverpool, they've had a go at Stockport. I think if Coventry beat us or we beat you, there'll be something there. I don't know. And also in that comment as well, without jumping ahead too much, Mendy's massive.
Mendy.
Yeah, that's a massive loss for us. That's a sucker punch, that is. But it is his deputy, Callum McFadzean, his brother plays for you now. I think he's out injured, but a real family affair, that one. I know the McFadzean family are excited, but they're kind of a bit nervous as well. Split loyalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, tell them the story about McFadzean in the cafe when we asked him about this game.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we were over in Marbella, and we went to watch Cov over in Marbella in the World Cup break. And we see McFadzean and a couple of our players in a cafe, and we were talking about the Wrexham game. And he did say, didn't he, he's looking forward to it. He said he's really looking forward to it. But he did say, we should beat them, no problem. That's what he says. That's what our player says. But obviously,
not only that,
he
said, and also he said, didn't he? He says, but you wouldn't believe it. He says, whenever we play each other, because I said, what's it going to be like playing with your brother? He says, every time we come up against each other, one of us is injured.
Injured, yeah, that's right. And look what happened, yeah. He got injured. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how good is his brother? The guy that plays for you? How good is he?
Yeah, he's not Jacob Mendy, so that's. But Jacob Mendy is he's better going forward. He's powerful. He can't get barged off the ball. He's got pace.
Yeah,
McFadzean's very dependable. So he'll play. He's not the most attacking of fullbacks.
Right.
I'd just be interested to see. The thing I'm most interested in is you obviously will not play like a lot of National League teams. I think you'll give our lads more time on the ball. And so I'm interested. And we've got, we're going to have a midfield probably of Elliot Lee, Tom O'Connor, and potentially Andy Cannon or Luke Young, our captain. 3 of those 4 have all played at high level and are used to, Andy Cannon's just come from the Championship. Elliot Lee came down from Championship League One. Tom O'Connor came from League One. They're going to be used to having more time on the ball. Whereas when we go to Solihull or Bromley, they're getting rough-housed and no, you'll be cuter with it. You might let us have the ball. Andy Morrell was saying that Coventry might let us have the ball, but they'll set traps that we're going to fall into because we're not at that Championship level. So I think it'll suit, people like Elliot Lee should be relishing this game. Andy Cannon should just come down from the Championship. So if these lads believe they are these League One talents and borderline Championship talents, then now's your time to prove it. Even if you lot make changes, it's still going to be a tough ask for us.
Yeah. There's a comment here. What happens? It's from Glenn. What happens if Wrexham don't go up this season? Do you hope that they bring in 3 up, 3 down comes in? That's something they've been talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure Glenn's a lovely fella, but I don't know why he's put that into the universe there. There's no real need to sort of put that out there. We are going to go up, Glenn. I don't want to worry too much about not going up, but I'm sure he's a lovely fella. But Glenn, please less of that. We don't need that negativity in the chat. It's if we don't go up, it would be a disaster. You'd have to say that it would. Phil Parkinson spent a hell of a lot of money. The wage bill's up to $2.5 million. We are everything that we used to hate. The money team, and we would do it against the odds. Now we're that team. We've got to do it. And as for the 3 up, 3 down, I was writing recently about football leagues saying they're having good discussions, but I'll believe it when I see it. I believe that it's all well and good saying you're having positive discussions and all that, but I have positive discussion on lots of things and it never comes to pass. So I believe it when I see it. I just hope. I don't know. I haven't got the energy to keep going. Myles Ken, I tell you, every year I get so excited. We don't do it, and then I sit in the I'm lying down in the fetal position in a dark room for about 2 months, and then I get ready for the start of the season and go again. But I don't think I can do it. I'm getting older. I can't keep doing it. It's all my kind of formative years have been playoffs and not making it. So it's about time. And also, you're both invited, but I think we'd have the biggest party Wales has ever seen if Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney and the Weatherspoons on the shoulders of people through Wrexham Wetherspoons. I think that'd be potentially the most iconic party we've ever seen. But yeah, this weekend, I mean, it's the beauty of it is it's one weekend we can take a bit of a break from the league and dare to dream. I still love the cup. Our players love the cup. I know Paul Mullin, for example, is absolutely buzzing. He really wants to stick it to you lot and see if we can do it. So we'll see. But I think from set pieces is our best chance. Just a quick look at you guys. I think that's the best chance we're going to have. Aaron Hayden, centre back for us this season, has got 10 goals from centre back. So more than most strikers of some teams. And I think if we've got the long throw, Ben Tozer's long throw, I'm sure you know, that's going to be our best chance, really. That's going to be the leveller, because I think on the deck, I don't know who you're going to have in midfield, but they're going to be good. They'll be technical, and that's where the game could be taken away from us.
Yeah. Now listen. So I said the other day, we'll trade you for Mullin. We'll trade you Tyler Walker. Would you take that?
No, we'll take Big Vic if you want Mullin, and we'll. No, you're not doing that so fast, are you? There you go. Yeah, there you go. No, I'm not taking Tyler for a super poor mode. But you know what? With Mullin is he's become a cult hero, and for everything that he stands for. The whole politics row and the fact he's from Liverpool and just a working class fella and could be playing at a much higher level, but wants to be close to home, to be with his son, and to be with his family. And he's absolutely adored by 10,000 people every single week. And would he trade that in to play in front of half of that in League Two, or maybe similar in League One at a club that he's in? I don't think so. I think he's signed a new deal. And yeah, if you bring Big Vic to the table, we can maybe start having a conversation. But if you're all right, then we'll stick as is, I think, fellas.
No, we're all right, Sal. Now listen, we're coming to the end of your segment here.
Nice.
Just before we crack on though, we're going to go for some predictions off you there. What are you thinking Saturday?
I'm gonna have to come on here and say Wrexham are gonna win. I don't know if the other lads when they come on will say similar, but I am gonna go for a 2-1 win. I'll go Paul Mullin. You know what? I'll go Paul Mullin and Aaron Hayden to score, and I'll have Tavares to score for you guys.
We don't even know if he's playing yet. He might not even get a game. So I don't know why everyone's raving about him.
Yeah, Robbins might surprise us all and put the whole first team out. You don't know, yeah.
If you put the whole first team out, this is what I'll say. If you put the first team out, we could lose, 3-0, and that would be that. And I don't know. I think if we can get the first goal, we're gonna have a chance, because we play a three at the back five, whatever you call it, and we'll be tough to break down. So get that first goal, get the away end up. If you get an early goal, then it'll be a long old evening, I think.
Yeah, we've got to try and keep your fans quiet, because they'll be a noisy bunch, won't they?
Well, I was going to say, last question from me, I guess, was, what's your ticket sales looking like? Because by the looks of it, it's going to be not many.
Not many by the looks of it. No, I mean,
No.
I don't know what. I mean, I'm expecting probably. They are quite cheap, the tickets, and they've priced them quite reasonable. For whatever reason, early rounds of the cup, a lot of our fans don't get excited about, but I certainly am. I like the cup. I think it's probably because they know that they're going to play a weakened side, and they're probably not. That's why they probably don't want to go up. But
what will it be then? Like 10,000 or
no? I'm probably
15,
expecting a bit more than that. I'm probably expecting around the 15 mark. I'd say. I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
pushing.
Still be the biggest crowd. Still be the biggest crowd for us. Yeah, still be the biggest crowd for us all season. We don't get over 10,000, so it's still a great occasion for our lads, no matter what happens.
It will look quite empty, because it's a big ground, old 32,000. So there probably will be quite a few empty sky blue seats. But I'm expecting about 15,000, so probably about half full. That's what I'm expecting anyway.
And just before you go, Nathan, someone put earlier, I missed it. There was a comment. Do you think you're going to bring some fans to pay up on the gate and wear a sky blue coat to get in the home end?
I tell you what, having a Coventry ticket is like having that Willy Wonka golden ticket. I think everybody's after one. We can't get any more. I I mean, it seemed like that it wasn't possible to get any more just because of the way. I mean, you know your ground better than us, but it seemed like there was no ability to give us any more, which is fair enough. With 4,500 is a lot of tickets for us. Will they? Yeah, look, having been in that situation before, and I had to sit on my hands away at Stoke because I couldn't get one in the away end. Excruciating. I know you want to be there, but given it's on TV as well, there might be one or two secret agents in there, but I don't think we'll have loads.
Okay, brilliant. Now listen, Nathan, we'll let you go because we've got our next guest lined up. Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for all the insight, and good luck Saturday, and a real good luck for the rest of the season. You really do deserve to go up.
Yeah, appreciate it, gents, and enjoy season. Enjoy Coventry's little cameo in the Disney Plus documentary. Hopefully, a good one for us and a bad one for you. But all the best for Saturday and rest of the season. Cheers
mate. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Brilliant stuff. So, Ken, we're just going to go to a quick ad break, and then we'll come back and we'll get our next guest on.
Okay.
So, just bear with us, everyone. Here's our little ad break.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy. I'm joined by Ken Stewart this evening. And if you are watching the channel, please like and subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Ken, that was a bit good, wasn't it?
Yes, it was good. Yeah, good insight into Wrexham. We know that they're going to bring a lot of fans, but it won't be an easy game, so we know that. So we just got to be on the ball for it, on Saturday. And if we are, we should beat them. But, anything can happen in the cup, can't it, as we know?
Yeah, anything can happen. Now, listen, we've got another guest on from another Wrexham podcast, Fearless in Devotion. Good evening to Tim. How are you?
Good evening, lads. Are you well?
Yeah, good, thank you. You?
I'm good, mate. I've had a shave for the occasion. I was looking a bit haggard about 10 minutes ago, so thought I'd make the effort,
Yeah. You all excited? You getting more excited now?
Yeah, I think so. It's been been a shortened week with the bank holiday and all that sort of stuff. So coming around really quick, to be fair. I mean, last year flew by, didn't it? I think personally, everybody spoke to us, the year went really quick. You kind of I don't want to wish this season away because it's so good. It's been so enjoyable. But it's just nice because I'm a big fan of the FA Cup. I was lucky to be of a certain age where I was at the Arsenal game, the West Ham game, and Birmingham and Stoke to a degree. So I think it's still a special competition. I think it's been a little bit dishonoured in recent times. Perhaps not so much emphasis is placed on it by other teams. I think especially higher up the ladder. But it's still a good old day out, especially to a ground that none of us have, or most of us have never been to, you know. So yeah, should be good.
Brilliant. Now, listen, you run a podcast. Tell us all about it. How it came about with you guys.
Probably a similar story to Nathan, really. I think we both. I mean, at that time, we thought, well, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So, you know, and between all of us, we've all got a varying degree of years behind us. You know, I think I'm a bit longer in the tooth, so I was like 90s. A lot of the other lads do it with three other lads. We're all similar ages, so we thought, well, let's do a pod. And so we did the podcast, and then that seemed to do quite well. Then we branched out and did a hard copy fanzine. So it's the first ever full colour fanzine of its type. We kind of wanted a high end kind of vibe to it, so it feels more magaziney than a straight up, you know, spit and sawdust papery type black and white picture fanzine. It's very not fancy damn, but we wanted to give, even make the front covers almost feel like a collectible feel to it. So yeah, between the fanzine and the podcast and doing the Twitter stuff, it's been enjoyable. You know, it's like people seem to come to both us and Rob Ryan Red for information and you know, they give us all sorts of bits and bobs, and we just try and do our best to give something back. You know, we've got these platforms, and you've got to be responsible with them. You know, So that's the upshot of it, and to get anywhere near the amount of followers we got, it's just mad. You know, I think if the Hollywood takeover happened, we'd still be, you know, sat near it. My mantra is like, if I get as many followers as we get fans in the ground, I'm happy, and we get more than that. So I can't be too hung up on a number, but it is nice to see that people are taking notice and enjoying what we're doing, and loads of worldwide fans all of a sudden, which is a little bit weird.
And how long you been doing it then? Just a couple of years since they took over, have you always?
Yeah, I mean, bizarrely, I had my Twitterversary. It came up on Christmas Day. I started the Fearless in Devotion Twitter account 8 years ago. I don't know where the time has gone. And I used to do stuff for the football club voluntarily. So I used to do like the match reports and their social media stuff. And then it just eventually got to a point where, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It was good, you know. You get into the games free, you do a bit of work free, you give it your free time for them. So you know, it's the least you can expect, I suppose. I kind of missed putting my own slant on things and not pulling the party line. There's only so many ways you can dress with a 7-3 home defeat to Gateshead or 7-2, whatever it was. Utterly bonkers. Trying to dumb down that one was interesting. So I just decided that I wanted to kind of maybe go my own way with it and put my own slant on it, because I traditionally had a journalistic background as well. So I just went from there, really, and it's kind of gradually snowballed, particularly around the sort of the takeover. We did stuff before then, but it was just as and when we could, you know, when the interest was lesser so, and you know, people weren't asked about the stuff I was writing back then unless you're a proper diehard, whereas you only need to sort of, you know, do one thing to do with Wrexham now and everybody's all over it. It's just wild. It's a weird ride, but one that I feel privileged to be part of, really.
And do you have access to the club at all? Do you have access to anything out there? Do you get, because obviously you would work for the club before free. Do you ever get any exclusives? We do to a degree. I mean, it's probably not as much as we would have liked. We've seen what you guys did the other day with interviewing players. We've seen it with the guys over at the Scarf Bagara or the Stockport boys that we've had on a few times. So we're still trying to not rebuild bridges. I just think maybe they're a little bit reticent to allow too much access. I don't know, and I don't know why, but maybe I mean, that's a conversation that we'll have soon, hopefully. That we do get exclusives for the fanzine as such. So we've had, I interviewed Phil Parkinson for the last one, and it was very much a case of, you know, right, Phil, I'm not interested in tactics because I'm not a football manager, but tell me what radio station or what CD you were listening to in the car on the way in. Tell me who you 5 bands that would play Parky Fest, you know, just like off the stuff, you know, off the cuff sort of kind of questions that you wouldn't necessarily ask. Yeah.
And we've had Paul Mullin as well, and he really enjoyed it because he was sick of people asking him, how many goals do you think you're going to get this year, Paul? Like, he must have been asked that 1,000 times, you know. So I just asked him random stuff, and it was just really good. Like, you know, who would play you in a movie of your life? Ryan Reynolds, big surprise. So just little things like that. So we do have access to a degree. I think we'd like a bit more, obviously, even if it's only once a month or once every couple of weeks to get somebody on the pod, it'd be great. You know, we're not, you know, us, Rob, Ryan, Red, there's a few of the podcasts out there. We're not in the game to stitch anybody up. And then we've got no real reason to. Previous times would have been very different. We've had a lot of charlatans come into the club with a lot of malicious intent behind them, whereas everything's, you know, to all intents and purposes, pretty rosy in the garden right now.
Yeah, and what's the atmosphere like around the town? Well, city now. You said you're
It's a town.
It's a city, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Town.
It's a town, yeah. It's not a city.
Well,
I mean, it's a city in name, and everybody will always consider it to be a town. That might change generationally, but in order for it to be a city, it needs to look like one, and feel like one. You know, you don't go to New York and go, "This is a nice little town." It's a city. You know, Birmingham, it's a city. Chester, to a point, it's a city. Wrexham's not. It's kind of like a proud market town. It still is very much so. But, you know, 20, 30, 40 years' time, it might be a very different landscape. And it might be befitting of what you would consider to be a city then, I think. But in terms of your question, it's just mad. Everything's changed. Everything. And I can't re-emphasize that enough. I mean, you know, we always suffered from the overspill of being so close to Liverpool, Manchester. Loads of people from up the coast would travel to watch them, and they'd bypass Wrexham on the way through. Little Wrexham languishing in non-league for 15 seasons. Oh, what a shame. And we were crap pretty much when we were in the Football League, let's be honest. We've only had a couple of promotions and, you know, sort of treaded water for a bit. So, but now, every school kid you see, Wrexham shirt, because the TikTok aspect as well, you know, down with the kids and all that. It's just mad. And it's a legacy thing now. This is like a legacy appointment in terms of the Hollywood takeover and what they're trying to do. It feels like it's been built from the ground up again. And there's just this special feeling about it. And you had pockets of pride before. You know, I'd go, you know, we've all had it. You've had it. You guys have had it. And everybody can agree with this. Where you've been to a pub and they'll go, Coventry was shit today, or Wrexham was shit today. It's like, why have you sat down and told me that? When you deep down, that person really cares. And then they'll try out the line, they were never that shit when I used to go. Oh, okay, we're going to go down this conversation. But you don't get any of that now. You don't get it. And it's just people, even the proper grumbleweeds, who will really look for something to hammer your team with, are struggling to find anything to hammer your team with because there's very, very little to complain about.
It sort of reminds me of the old Accrington Stanley advert, doesn't it? I think wasn't it Ian Rush in that advert, wasn't he? When he was a young lad and he got no, not Ian Rush, was it? Ian Rush told
Rooney, wasn't it? Was it Rooney?
No, Fowler. Fowler was the little lad in it, weren't he? And
was it him?
Yeah, and Ian Rush goes to him, he says, yeah, Ian Rush told me to drink loads of milk. He says, why? Because I played for Accrington and Stanley one day. It's like that, isn't it, really, where you have people driving by and used to take the mickey out of you, but they're not anymore. I've got a little comment here for you. I don't know if you want to take this on board. Mullen and Palmer will potentially give our back three the biggest test of the season so far this season. How lethal are Mullen and Palmer, going off that question?
They are up there with probably the best strike partnership we've had in the last 20 years, I want to say. I mean, that's largely owing to the fact that when you haven't got a pot to piss in and you're in the 5th division, you can't get a 20-goal a season striker, let alone 2. So we're fortunate in that it's worked out. You've seen the documentary. You saw that Parker was like, if we get this guy in, then it'll change everything. It'll add a third dimension to what's happening, and that's proven to be the case. You know, he's paid his transfer fee and then some, and they both bring different things. Mullin is deceptively fast. Don't know if you remember Lee Trundle. He used to play for Swansea, played for Wrexham before then. Very similar kind of. I mean, it helps. You know, they're both Scousers, but they're very similar in how they approach the game. you know, everybody says about Wayne Rooney being a street footballer. It was the same for Trundle. It's the same for Mullin. It's like all the skills he honed were from the streets and from the back garden, and his love for football, his endless love for football, and his endless desire to kind of better himself game by game. I remember when we signed him from Cambridge, and there was loads of aggrieved Cambridge fans and League Two fans saying, "Well, it was a one-off season for Cambridge. Yeah, he knocked in loads of goals, but he'll struggle in the 5th division." Not quite. Knocking them in for fun, hat-tricks galore, and then you got Palmer, who's kind of more the brute force, more of a target man figure, but very, very good with his feet and very good with his head. So you've got kind of the complete package. You've got the foil in Palmer, scored slightly less goals than Mullin. However, for all of their plaudits that they rightly received, do not take your eye off our centre-half, Aaron Hayden. Centre-half, he's got 10 goals.
Yeah.
That's mad. It's just
We
mad.
just heard that. The guy previously told us about that.
It's just it's bonkers. If he'd stayed fit at the tail end of last season, we may have gone up. We may have won the trophy. That's how much of a colossal miss he was. He's just unbelievable. And yeah, most of his goals have been with his head, give or take 1 or 2 with his feet. But yeah, so the good thing is if one of those 2 is misfiring, there's goals elsewhere throughout that team, really, not just Hayden at the back. But yeah, Mullin and Palmer, if they both play, which I'd imagine they would, be an interesting day for your defence.
Now, I suppose everyone always asks you about Mullin and everyone out, the top players in the team. Is there anyone that not everyone's heard of that could be a tricky situation for us?
Ooh, well, I imagine Nath probably mentioned Tom O'Connor. Probably. I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, O'Connor was mentioned.
Yeah, O'Connor's kind of been that weird player where he arrived and then we didn't really see much of him because he was in and out with injury. And then for some bizarre reason, they played him left back, which is completely bizarre. It's like playing a goalkeeper up front. It's just weird. So we couldn't really understand that. But seeing as Nate's gone with O'Connor, I'll go with somebody different. Who will I go with? I can't believe I'm in a position where I have to struggle to give you an idea which one to go with. That's a good sign, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a pretty reasonable sign. You know what? I know Andy Cannon's going to be involved, and he's been missing. We've obviously signed him from Hull. I've not seen him play yet. I think he played in the FA Trophy game when I was coming back from Qatar, the World Cup. So I missed seeing him live, but he seemed to be quite lively, quite decent. He's going to be involved, so I imagine that we would see him. But in terms of, I mean, Elliot Lee, you probably know a bit more about, having played for Luton and so on, but I'm going to go with Luke Young. And the only reason I'm going to go with Luke Young, I think he's currently our longest serving player on our books. He was Sam Ricketts' first ever signing back in 2018, I think. And he offers more than what you'd imagine. You'd look at him thinking the midfield, is he quite short? Is he cut out for it? He just pops up everywhere. He's one of those, it's just like a little terrier that snaps away and he's a bugger. He will not stop harassing. His work rate is unreal. And he's got a pretty wicked strike on him as well. Some of the goals, when he scores, he hasn't scored as many this season as he had previous season, but when he does score, tends to let rip from 20 yards, doesn't do tap-ins. But just a really industrious, pain in the ass player that you think, oh man, will this guy just stop in 85 minutes and he's running around like he was in the first 20 seconds. So I think he doesn't quite get some of the plaudits that he deserves. He does a lot of the dirty work of the game as well, when we haven't got the ball. So I'll say Luke Young. He's our captain as well.
And going on to your goalkeepers, Rob Langton, he got injured last season, didn't he? It was on the documentary. He really got badly hurt with his hand. Is he back? Is he back now? Is he back your number one, or is it still
no?
Christian Dibble?
I feel a bit
Dibble
sorry
got a bit of stick.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. 1 minute we've got no goalkeeper. Now I think we've got like 5 on the books, and you know what? I can't even name them all. It's really weird. I mean, Rob Langton, he's a great goalkeeper, made of glass though, and if he hadn't been so seriously injured with that challenge that was made, he's probably given away a penalty. He's clotheslined the fella. At the time, I was like, he's given away a penalty here, and he broke his wrist or whatever he'd done. Pretty serious. He's had a couple of big injuries, Rob. He is no longer current number one. He is in a lot of people's eyes, and he was, stroke is in mine to a certain point, but Dibble was the number two and a very able number two. By his own admission, he's prone to a big error in very big games. And yeah, there was a few in quick succession which would probably break a lesser player. But to be fair to him, he's quite strong-willed. Obviously, Andy Dibble's son, so kind of gets that from his old man probably. But yeah, Dibble was being injured as well, so therefore we've been left with hardly any goalkeepers. And now we've got Mark Howard in as our number one. I think he's kept 10 or 11 clean sheets, which is not a bad return so far. Had a bit of a shaky start. We've drafted him in from Carlisle United. He signed for them late on in their season, and then he ended up being voted their player of the season. So very experienced, started his career at Arsenal, been around the block. Kind of a similar situation to Christian Dibble's dad, Andy. We signed him when he was well into his heyday, sort of early to mid-30s. And it's a similar story for Howard. So we've got this experienced goalkeeper that's helping us, achieve record-breaking figures as it stands. So, but in a weird way, I would not be surprised to see Leighton get some sort of game time. I genuinely don't know. That this is the weird thing that Parky's got at his disposal, which is options. Usually, any previous season gone by, pre-takeover, we would know who was playing. Now it's like, okay, we've got Kyle Calderbank Smith, I think, another goalkeeper. I can't even keep up. We've not seen anybody apart from Howard this season, apart from Leighton in the last FA Trophy game. So he is back as Howard's deputy. I'd imagine Dibble may go out on loan at some point.
And Ken, talking about goalkeepers, what do you think about our situation? Do you think we'll rest Ben Wilson this week?
Yeah, I think Simon Moore come in. He's a good goalkeeper anyway, as we know. Anyway, Simon Moore he was a bit unlucky, obviously, to be out the side. But Ben Wilson's been playing tremendous for us. He's kept a lot of clean sheets. So, but I expect Simon Moore to come in. I expect Robbins to make a couple of changes. He'd probably rest Big Vic, play Martin Waghorn and maybe Tavares up front. But we haven't. Apart from that, we need to keep the back four is going to be particularly the same, isn't it? We haven't got anybody else to put in, have we? Really, because we've got so many injuries. McFadden's injured, obviously, at the moment. And you've got his brother playing for you, haven't you, McFadden?
Yeah. Sunderland fans absolutely hate him. They voted him their worst ever player of all time. That's quite harsh, isn't it? But obviously, Parky had him play for him when he was Sunderland boss, so he kind of knows the vibe, and he's been decent. I mean, he'll start because we got an injury to Jacob Mendy, and Mazin came on the other day. Yeah, probably not as powerful as Mendy, but still a very savvy player. I mean, it's nice now. We've got, what it takes. The further up the ladder you go, and it even extends to the 5th division now. You have to be clever, and you have to know the dark arts of the game. As sad as it is, I'm not talking about overtly diving in the box like you see some of the Premier League players, but I mean, some of the shithousery we've seen at Wrexham in recent years, like, the last 4 minutes of the game and we're winning 2-0. Just slow the game down, feign that injury. It happens everywhere, and it's clever, crafty gamesmanship, and that's just part and parcel of the game as we see it in the modern day.
Yeah, we don't do it.
we don't tend to do it. That's our biggest probably fault, because we always say we don't do it enough. But other teams come to us and do it. But we don't tend to do it for some whatever reason. But we don't.
You'll see it on Saturday.
The thing is, we were 3-0 up against Swansea, and what you're crying out for is for you to start playing those silly games and start rolling around and everything else, and take your time. And we just carry on playing as we normally do. We don't do it. And it to be honest with you, we don't like watching it. But when you're 3-0 up and you go and blow it and draw 3-3.
My mate Robbie's a Swansea fan, and he's one of the lads I went to the World Cup with. And he said, "Have a good day out of Coventry." He said, "We went the other week. We had a storming comeback." He said, "I missed all 3 goals because I was still in the concourse having a few beers, so he didn't even see."
Yeah, a lot of the Swansea fans started to go. You could see them all going downstairs. And then...
If you get our goal back, you just go in because you never know, do you? Don't sit. I was like, why would you travel all the way to do exactly what you can do in your pub at home and just sit in the concourse and not see any of the goals? Weird.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. Yeah. Right, so we're going to go on score predictions. Now, I mean, as far as we're aware, we think we're going to have a bit of first team, bit of reserves in. What are you thinking on this team? Do you think you can come and do us?
Yeah. And just because of the run we're on, just because confidence is good, and winning becomes a habit, doesn't it? As cheesy as it sounds, you look at Scunthorpe, losing becomes a habit. They're screwed. They're just going to keep going and going. It's such a bad team. I think I said on the pod the other day I was going to go 2-1. However, my dad always puts a 3-1 bet on things, and he's coming to the game on Saturday, and he's going into the hospital for an op next week. So, in the spirit of my dad backing it as a 3-1er, and the fact we beat Birmingham in the cup in '97, which was the last team that we won away at in the competition at that level. I think somebody asked me the other day. I'm going to be bold and go 3-1 instead.
Oh.
That's a brave call. I know you want your replay, but I've got your fridge magnet anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you very much.
Yeah, they brought the replays back this year, haven't they? Because they stopped the replays, didn't they, for a period of time? Obviously, stopped fans travelling and stuff for COVID and all that. But the replays are back on again now. So possibly...
you know what? And other people have said that if it is a replay, then great. I mean, it sort of threatens to derail the regularity of the league games because we're due to have one on the Tuesday. I'm not sure when we play it. Would we play it on the Tuesday or the following one? I can't remember.
No, it'd probably be a following week, I think. So a week.
Yeah. Okay. It's just like thick and fast then because we got Tuesday, Friday, and then the Chesterfield game, which is a biggie for us because it'd be second versus third. That would be postponed, I think. So we could do without a replay. If there is one, then again it's almost guaranteed to be pretty much sold out. It's just mad these days. It's just bonkers.
No, I have actually been to the racecourse ground a long time ago. Last time we played you, I can't remember that was, but
yeah, I was at both. I was at the second leg in Highfield Road, which is I watched the grainy highlights back the other day. I was like, wow.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What was the score? I can't remember what the score was.
It was 3-2 on the night. Yeah. And I think you beat us at our place 2-1.
2-1, I think. Yeah, I remember.
So 5-3 on aggregate, but because I remember Dion Dublin. Yeah, Dion Dublin got a couple, and Roy Wegley scored at your place.
Yeah, Roy Wegley. Yeah. That's
I enjoyed that. It was because I'm sure you were Premier League, weren't you, that time?
Yeah, we were at the time. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, over the days, yes.
I just remember that ground quite vividly. I remember I dug out the pictures that you get these days, not on your phone, but the old pictures. Yeah. And I don't know. I always liked that ground. I don't know why. I can just remember that the scoreboard was in the far right hand corner from where we were. It was quite a sizable scoreboard at the time. That's a massive board. That, and I don't know what happened. Why did Highfield Road go in the end?
We all wish it was still there, but unfortunately, as things go, the ground got sold. Obviously, for whatever reason, then we got all these broken promises, if you like, to move to this state-of-the-art stadium. Blah blah blah. Which we did. They bought this new land on the outskirts of town. Now we're not in the. Otherwise, Highfield Road should be in the city centre. Our new ground now is sort of on the outskirts, by the motorway, sort of right out in the outskirts. So we got all these promises, and it just didn't quite work out. Obviously, for whatever reason, we did. We ended up not owning the ground now, which is how crazy it was. That ground was built for football. And then we ended up because of the financial situation of the club, we had to sell our shares back to somebody else and the council and blah, blah, blah. and it all got a bit out of hand. And then in the end, obviously, we fell out with the council, and then we ended up moving to play at other stadiums because we fell out with the council. We didn't have a home for a while, and then we came back and sort of signed a new deal with Wasps, the rugby club, who are now folded, believe it or not. So
crazy, isn't it?
so
Absolutely.
we're back there now, but obviously the rugby club have gone. They're folded. So it's just a long saga, really, of events, isn't it, Miles?
Yeah.
Listen, don't start me off. I'm just going to go on a rant if I start on this one.
I got a slight stop. I got a bit of a soft spot for Coventry just because one of my favourite ever Wrexham away kits is sky blue, and it was sky blue because it was the colour of the famous old Wrexham lager cans. So those cans were sky blue. So yeah, I was tempted to wear my sky blue shirt for Saturday. I can't do that. And you asked Nate before, will there be any Wrexham fans trying to get into the home end? Bizarrely, I don't know why I bought it, because when we had that sort of cold snap before Christmas, I was like, shit, I'm going to get prepared. I ended up buying a sky blue balaclava. I have no idea why. I've not worn it yet. So if any Wrexham fan want to go in the away end and proper blend in, there's your chance. An £8 balaclava.
Not with a balaclava.
Maybe not. Yeah, you might get all sorts. You bag check.
Get away with a sky blue Stone Island jacket or something. You'll
have
teenagers that go up.
Yeah,
you'll have a noisy crowd there, won't you? So it's up to us to keep them quiet, really, by not letting you score.
It's one of those. I mean, hopefully, there'll be good following. You'll get all the old diehards. You'll get the new sort of fans coming in. It'll be a bit of a mix. Be quite rowdy. I imagine, looking at it, most people will probably stay on their feet. People still kind of favour that these days, and unless you're blocking somebody's view or whatever, fair enough. And it'll be loud, it'll be raucous, but you just never know. You score a first goal, and we'll be like, nah. It might simmer down for a bit, but it's weird.
We've got to try and keep quiet because I know.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's just like you've mentioned your strike. It's nice to have players in your team that can get you off your seat and give you a bit of excitement. Because those are the sort of players people like in their team. You could have a substandard team, if you've got two players in that team that have the ability to change a game. Yeah. That's a big buzz, and that's kind of why we're so confident where we are at the moment in terms of squad depth. We are now where Stockport were last season. Stockport had a better squad last year in terms of depth. Now we've got that, and I think that's where we feel we've got the edge on Notts County. So we're just hoping somebody comes in for their star striker from above. So celebrate your takeover and go and buy him.
Some big clubs down there in that National League, isn't there?
Yeah, it's kind of like a graveyard for former Football League clubs, to be honest. And what annoys me is that it's harder to get out the National League than it is to stay in League Two. That's the annoyance, and you can guarantee that as and when Wrexham do go up, they'll then change the structure. And we'll now do 2 up automatically, and do it that way. We finished that season years ago on 98 points and still didn't go up.
Right. Yeah, so, great. That's mad.
Yeah, it's a horrible old league, and as much as it pains me to say it, it was probably always going to take something like this with a cash injection to give us a really, really strong chance to finally get out of it, really.
Brilliant. Yeah. Ken, give us a score, mate.
Me? Well, you're going to put me on the spot. I think we'll win. I think we should be strong enough to beat them, depending on what sort of team we put out. But you know what Robbins is like. You don't know what sort of team he's going to put out until on the day. But I'd like to think he would respect Wrexham, and he would respect the competition and put a reasonably strong team out. And if he does that, I think it'll be tight. I don't think it'll be easy. There's no easy games. I think it was tight. I think we're going to take us to win 2-1.
Okay, I've got some.
I think
scores.
They will score, but I think we'll score 2.
I've got some scores coming in here from the official Flame Esports team. 3-2 Cov. Winning in Robin's time. Yeah, we're pretty good at that one. I think I mentioned that yesterday to you.
We had Parky time last year, so it must be a similar thing.
Yeah. Well, we had Robin's time last year, over 21 points in injury time we got last season. Andrew Griffiths. Do you know Andrew Griffiths?
That's a
That
very
sounds like a
generic
Welsh
name.
name to me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
Good old
Don't we all
Welsh.
know Andrew Griffiths?
2-1 Wrexham. Glenn's come on and said he thinks it's going to be tight. Could be a 3-2 or 4-3. That'd be amazing.
I'm
that'd
not
be
ready for another
fantastic.
Dover type thing.
That'd be ace, that will. Kai Roberts said 1-0 Wrexham. Hashtag in brackets Lee.
Elliot Lee.
Who else
Strong.
have we got? That's the score lines that have come in so far tonight. But as I said on your pod the other day, I'm sitting on the fence. I'm going for a draw,
Replay.
a replay, and then I can meet you guys in the turf pub by the ground and have a beer with you.
You know what? I think it's almost like a win-win situation for us. If we get anything out of it, great. We've laid down a marker. Look at us. We're actually a better team than we actually think we are, or people can actually see us and go, oh yeah, they actually have got players from up above, and it showed.
Yeah.
Or we lose, it takes you down a peg or two, and so you remember where you are, lads. You're still in that division. You've got to earn the right to get over it, and you've got to earn the right to beat teams at a high level. And sometimes the loss can sting you into even further action to go, right, we'll make amends and we'll get back into league action, and that's where it's at. So it's kind of like a free hit, in a weird way. If we go out, then everybody will be like, oh well, we did well, we've had a good day out, cheers, let's get back onto the league. If we don't, then all the buzz and the excitement will be Monday on that draw, going, who are we gonna get? The both of us. Because we all love it when you get to that, especially when you're out of the top flight, when you get to that third, fourth, fifth round or whatever, and you sat there glued to the draw. You're just going, come on, somebody, somebody, Man City, Newcastle, whatever, and it's a right buzz. And anybody who doesn't get the buzz, then you must be dead inside.
Yeah, it's still got the romance. Still got the romance, hasn't it? And it's a massive competition, and I say it's going to be live on telly. It's live on Welsh TV, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
isn't
it's on SLC, but if you red button it, you do get the option of the English commentary as well. So
Oh, good.
Yeah, so there is the option. I told my mum that. She's like, I can't be asked to listen to the Welsh commentary. She's a proud Welsh woman, but it gives her a headache. And if Malcolm Allen's on it, Malcolm Allen's funny as hell, but he just goes absolutely crackers. Like, if we get a shot on goal, he just sounds like he's having a heart attack. It's quite good value.
I just watched the interview earlier with that young lady from Wales who interviewed Dennis Lawrence.
Yeah.
And she started off speaking in Welsh, and I was like, I don't know what she's saying. And then old Dennis come on, she started speaking English, and I thought, oh, that's all right.
It would have been good, and I had turned up for the book if Dennis had spoken Welsh. That would have
been hilarious, wouldn't it?
Welsh in a Trinidadian accent I would pay good money for that, to be fair.
Listen, we've got one more scoreline coming here before we let you go, Tim. 2-1 Cov from Paul Hughes. So all quite tight results, aren't they? So hopefully it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be a good laugh, and all you boys come and have a good time. And you're going to come and meet us and let us interview you live at Dillon's, are you?
Yeah, I've told the world about it, so hopefully you'll get a fair few there now.
Don't tell everyone.
Yeah, a bit late. I mean, it's good to see all the predictions being fairly close, because that gives you, any self-respecting football fan with half a brain will go, can't take them lightly, because any team that goes on the run that we've been on, it doesn't matter what level you're at, winning breeds confidence. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
As I said earlier, if you've got on the day, it's down to on the day, and if you've got 6 or 7 players not playing up to the standard you expect them to play, they slip below their standards, then you're going to lose the game. And the other team are going to be up for it more, and you just got to be on the ball. No matter who you're playing, you've got to be on the ball on the day. And anybody can beat anybody on the day. It's 11 against 11, and you just got to be up for it. Otherwise, you'll get turned over.
Yeah,
exactly. Should be a good day out. And I imagine there'll be some sozzled faces come 5:30 for those who can't handle their booze and long sessions. So we'll see.
Well, you'll be heading up early, won't you? I suppose, spending the whole day.
Yeah, I think most of the coaches are heading around the sort of 1:30 mark, so we'll be there a couple of hours before. But I think officially from the club there's about 15, 16 coaches, and then unofficially, you're probably looking at about 40. I want to say.
Wow.
It's going to be a lot of coaches because obviously the rail strikes. You're going to get exiled fans from everywhere else, London Reds and all that.
Minibuses, a lot.
Yeah, there's a lad who travel. He lives in Luxembourg and he travels over for the games. Mad. He'll be there. He'll come from Luxembourg for it. It's just nuts, man. It's just crazy.
Brilliant. And listen, Tim, thanks for coming on, mate. We'll see you about 4:30 on Saturday down Dillon's. We'll have a little chat. Yeah. We'll have a sneaky beer together, eh?
Come and get your fridge magnet and a little something I've got you to go with it. I'm sure you'll like it.
Oh, brilliant. Cheers, mate. That's brilliant. Listen, safe journey on Saturday. And, as I say, all the best for the season. I hope it all goes well for you. Obviously, we hope, all of us hope we do win on Saturday. But if it's a draw, I'm happy with that because we'll come to the race course. It'll be a good night out, that will.
Yeah, there's plenty of pubs in Wrexham, that's for sure.
It'd be good.
Very much a pub town and not a city. Cocktail bar city 12 miles down the road, but no.
Well, thanks a lot again for coming on, and as I say, we'll see you Saturday.
All the best, lads. Take it easy and be good until then. Take care.
Take care.
See you, lads. See you then.
Hello, mate.
There you go. That was good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Nice insight to Wrexham. It won't be easy. There's no doubt about that. It'll be a hard game.
Yeah.
And anybody who thinks it's going to be turn up and we're going to win 4-5-0, then that's not going to happen.
No, definitely not. I mean, we know what it's like. We've been there before.
Yeah.
But you know what Robins is like. It might surprise us and play everybody, and it could be just one entertaining game, couldn't it?
Yeah, and anything can happen. You could be sending off. There could be, people get injured. You don't know, do you? Anything can change and turn a game in your favour or against you. So it's very much down to on the day, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be quite an exciting day, actually.
Yeah, I think it will be. We've got Glenn. Glenn's popped up again. Good evening, Glenn. If you're still watching Saturday game, personally, he doesn't want to lose it as it haunted him about Worcester City defeat under Presley.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and even back to the draw at Highfield Road to Woking and just scraping through with the replay. Yeah. I mean, we've had some tough games, haven't we? In that
Worcester
third
game,
round.
Yeah, that Worcester game is very similar because they came. They had a big crowd.
Yeah,
they were doing quite well. They were non-league, and then they turned us over on the day. We weren't good enough.
I think they had 5,000, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, and we weren't good enough on the day, even though we had a team. James Maddison played that day for us, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We had a reasonably strong team. I know we had a couple of changes, but we still should have. The team that was out there should have beat Worcester on that day.
Should have. No doubt. Should have done all day long.
They weren't up for it. Simple as that, and they got turned over. So
Andrew Griffiths has popped up again. Says Palmer both goals for Wrexham. Well, Palmer. He's going to get 2 own goals. Yeah, we got a Palmer. No, they're Palmer. We know who you're on about. Someone's put a comment up for us. Brilliant interview, guys. So that's nice. Thank you very much for that comment. Now, listen, before we go, we're just going to have a little couple of little clips for you from Tuesday night at Sky Blue Tavern. Now, and also we've got a competition coming up straight after, which Kevin's got the winners. Yeah. We've got the results. And then I've got some information about the Family Zone and something special that you can all come and try a week on Sunday. Now, we're just going to go on to this one, just a couple of little clips for you. Ken and I helped host a fans forum at the Sky Blue Tavern. I don't know if anyone's been to one before, but the tavern get players down there, and we joined forces with Sky Blue Extra. Unfortunately, Sky Blue Extra couldn't be there this week because they've some are on holiday, some have started back at work. It was a bit, it's a shame they couldn't be there because we all get on really well, and it's a great atmosphere when we're all working together in the tavern. But we were lucky enough to interview Jake Bidwell, who I said his name wrong once. I called him Jack. Jack. I don't know why I did that. It was only once. And then the fantastic, what a talent, Callum Doyle. I mean, for a young lad of his age to sit up there in front of the fans, wasn't he confident? I thought you know,
Very,
he was brilliant, weren't he?
He was brilliant. Yeah, he came
was
across
great.
really well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fans impressed with him.
Yeah, he was good lad. He's tall as well. You know, you wouldn't believe how he's at that such a young age as well. But let's have a little look. We've got a couple of clips and a couple of photos for you. We'll start with this one. So this is when
good lads, aren't they? I think they really enjoyed themselves tonight. So what we're going to do now, the players are going to come out, and Ken's where's Ken? Ken's over there. So Ken's going to come round with a microphone, and you can all ask them questions.
Just put your hand up in the air if you want to ask a question, please, and I'll come to you.
That's it. And we'll get the lads to answer them for you. So let's get the second part on the go, because they've got to get off to bed early tonight because they've got training ready for Wrexham on Saturday. So we're going to introduce the goal scorer for Millions Day. Please welcome Jake Bidwell. And the Dynamo from Manchester City, loanee for us, Callum Doyle. How's your food, Callum?
Yeah, it was decent to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, good to hear, isn't it? Coming again?
Yeah, I'll bring the family next time as well. So.
I couldn't join you, I couldn't stalk you like we did in Marbella.
They're great, weren't they? Weren't they good?
Yeah, they were good. Really good.
So, and then you went round with the microphone and got some questions off the fans. Should we have a look at a couple of those?
Yeah.
Here you go then.
What are your biggest achievements so far in your careers?
The biggest achievement, I think, the League One promotion season obviously sticks out for me. I think when you get promoted out of any league, to come out on top after 46 games is a massive achievement. As I touched on before, the group of lads that shared the dressing room down here, that was just something I look back on, massive fond memories. So yeah, to get another promotion would be nice, but I'd say that's probably the one that sticks out for me off the top of my head.
For me, I'd probably say the under-19 Euros. Obviously playing for your country is a big privilege, and winning a trophy is even better, as well as the promotion just topped off that season, so it was a really good experience for me.
Next.
And another one.
Lads, good lads, aren't they? I think they really enjoyed.
I hope most people in the room agree with me that we at Coventry have got a very, very unique situation. What Mark Robbins does with the club, with the support of Adi Vivash and the team, the backroom team, is something incredible with the budgets that they work on. How do you see that, the dynamic of that as players? Is it a sort of good cop, bad cop set up, or do they each bring a unique skill set to the team?
No, I think the way they work is, you see, it's not a good cop, bad cop. The gaffer is the manager, and Adi does most of the coaching, and that's the way the setup is, and that allows the gaffer to oversee a wider range of things, I suppose, which maybe at the football club, is attention is needed elsewhere as well as on the field. So you say it's worked well for a number of years, and we've obviously joined it sort of this season and last season, but it seems to work. So it's obviously brilliant. So I don't think it's not a hindrance. It's working. So I don't see it as a problem at all. No.
Callum, you want to add to that?
Yeah, obviously I've come in just at the start of this season. Obviously working closely with AD with my defending. I've obviously seen that I've improved a got as I've come in, and obviously with the gaffer, he just oversees that and makes sure that I'm doing well, and he puts his trust in Eddie to obviously teach me and give me advice, and obviously Eddie's experience and rub off mine, which is working right now, so yeah.
Brilliant. Love it. Next, anyone else?
There you go. Weren't they good? They were brilliant.
Brilliant, and they, they really enjoyed it. Even at the end, they really enjoyed it. And I'm sure they'll be talking about it back in the training ground and how much they enjoyed it, because Callum's only a young lad, and he's not used to that sort of thing, asking questions, especially being on loan at a club. And so he came in and he answered the questions we put to him and the audience, and he was really good. He come out with some great answers, and we had a bit of a laugh along the way, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we definitely did. I mean, we're so lucky, aren't we? I mean, we've got to thank Dal and Gordon and everyone at Dillon's and everyone at the Sky Blue Tavern for allowing Sky Blue Fans TV and also Sky Blue Extra to be able to have this opportunity to interview the players. I mean, this is what dreams are made of, isn't it, for us as fans, to have this opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's what we all dream of, isn't it? And we've enjoyed it. We see them about. We don't get much time sometimes to talk to them. We all see them playing on a Saturday and midweek, but we don't get many opportunities to speak to them personally, do we? Unless we events like this, and that's what I think brings us closer. And obviously, we probably can understand a little bit more about the way they play and stuff like that. Where we probably wouldn't, if we didn't get the chance to talk to them personally, we probably wouldn't understand, the way they play and the thoughts they've got behind the tactics and stuff like that. It's easy to have a go at players, when you're sitting in the stand. Oh, he shouldn't have done this and he should have done that. But then when you talk to them, they probably explain why they were doing that, or things like that. And it's good to listen to. Yeah.
The other thing I was really touched on, and I'm going to own up to it, nearly brought a tear to my eye, was when Bidwell said about Callum O'Hare, how he's hurting really bad. He's lying in bed. He can't get out of bed. He can't do anything. I mean, that sort of really hit home that he's in a real bad way. He's probably, it sounds like it's worse than Jody Jones by the sounds, the way the boys were talking.
He's in a lot of pain at the moment. He probably will be initially, and that pain will eventually get better over a period of time. But it's early stages yet at the moment, so he'll probably be struggling to walk. Now he's got all, he's got a lot of medical help and assistance, so I'm sure they'll look after him. But yeah, it can't be easy for him sitting in a hospital bed or hobbling around wherever he's got we're used to seeing him like running around on the pitch, aren't we? And and to be fair, he's not had an injury really since he's been here. It's his first real serious injury, isn't it?
Major one
for him. He's had a couple of niggles, but he hasn't missed many games really. But we certainly know when he missed a game, because we miss him on the pitch, don't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to do. Unfortunately, we're going to have to be without him for the rest of the season, and hopefully, just he can get fit as soon as possible, ready for next season. But it's probably going to be, the start of next season. After a couple of months, probably into the season, it's probably 9 months in total. But it can be less, depending on how quick you recover. But we don't know how quick that's going to be. It's a bit like Jody Jones. He failed to come back a couple of times, didn't he? And then he struggled to come back like the player he was. And let's hope it's not going to be the case with Callum. We all want him to get fully fit and come back the player stronger than he is at the moment, and come back the player we know what he's like and how he can play, and we don't want that to affect him at all in any way. But we all got our fingers crossed for him, and hopefully he can get back better and get back playing football ASAP really.
Yeah, and if anyone is watching, or if Callum does ever get to watch it, wish you all the best, mate. We all the Cov fans, I hope I'm speaking on behalf of every Cov fan. We love you, mate, and get well soon. And we can't wait for you to get back playing for the mighty Sky Blues. So if you are watching, or anyone knows him and wants to share this with him, please do. We love you, mate. Just get better soon.
Yeah, we're all thinking of you, mate. We're all thinking of you, and hopefully you can get back as soon as possible.
Yeah. Now, listen, we also have a competition at the tavern as well, where you can win a signed shirt. Now, this week, this particular forum. We had a signed shirt, Bidwell's signed shirt, and we had a young man that it was his first forum, bless him. He went up to the bar and it was $2.99 a pint of Carl, and he couldn't believe it. He had to buy another one because he says that's unbelievable. So he had a fantastic time. So if you do come along, we raise money. Sky Blue Tavern raised money for the Jimmy Hill Foundation, and I think we raised £143 this week.
Something like that, 140 odd quid. Yeah, good. Good.
So it's a real good shout. Let's see, a couple more comments just come in before we go on to the competition winners, guys. So we got here Mark Cunningham, FA Cup win and new owner to be announced, please. PUSB. We've got here Paul Hughes, brilliant. Oh, I was doing that one. Get rid of that one. What's that? So here we go. Be great if we do something for O'Hare at the Norwich home game on Sky to lift his spirits. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe we could get a massive flag made and make it go across the stand. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, thinking of your Callum or something like that on it.
Yeah, thinking of your Callum. Yeah, or his song all game. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be singing his song out loud. So Ken, before we wrap up, then we've got a couple of things to cover. Yeah. Competition winners. What did they win?
Yeah, well, they won a calendar and a Sky Blue Fans TV mug, which I've got. Yeah, there's the mug, which I've got some few things in. The mug's there. There it is. We're just about to see it. One of them mugs. And also calendar, Sky Blue Fans TV calendar. Well, Sky Blue Fans, so CCFC calendar, unofficial calendar. As provided by CCFC Fanstore. They are available on there if you want to purchase one. If you're not lucky, these 6 lucky winners which I'm about to read out, which was drawn randomly, which I drew the other night on Monday after the closing date. Basically, we had 71 entries. I'll tell you the answer to the question first. The question was who scored basically Coventry City's first goal of the season way back in July. Of course, that was Big Vic against Sunderland, if you remember, in the draw. Yeah, brilliant goal. It was on telly, if you remember. I was there, and it was a great goal. So that was the answer. Big Vic, we were after the answer. We had 71 entries. All the numbers were allocated to the 71, and then we had a random number selector, which selected 6 lucky winners for us. And then winners are as follows. Clive Middleton, who entered via Facebook. Dave Kay, who also entered via Facebook. Luke Carter, who entered via email. Adam Hooper, who was a Twitter entry. Ryan O'Sullivan, who also entered via email. And Kevin Collins was also entered via email. So there's 6 winners. They all receive a CCFC unofficial fan store calendar for 2023 and also a Sky Blue Fans TV mug. So congratulations to all them. If your name's just been read out and I haven't contacted you, then please send us a quick email with your contact detail, telephone number, and your address, and then I can get them posted off to you. Or if you live locally, I can deliver them to you. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah. So if you send us your details on skybluefanstv@gmail.com, that would be brilliant. Yeah. If you pop them over to me later, I'll put them on social media and people can look at it that way, and I'll put the email address on there so they can see who's won. Luke Carter was at the forum the other night, actually. So that's good. That's really good. And also
Dave Kay, he was at the forum as well.
He was there. Yeah.
So that's fine. Okay.
So tell us about the Family Zone.
Yeah. Okay. Family Zone. If you remember, we did sponsor the Family Zone early in the season. We're going to do it again. We've got confirmation we'll be sponsoring the game against Sunderland on February the 23rd, I think it is. And then all the pop and crisps will be supplied by ourselves. So, and there'll be probably a little competition as well to give away a few mugs and stuff as well. So that's a Sunderland home game in February. Sky Blue Fans TV will be sponsoring it, all the pop and crisps for your kids. So if you want to register your children if you come into that game, you've got to pre-register with Pat. If you go on the website, they'll tell you how to do that. You register, I believe, you get a token, and then come over to us with a token, and then you get your free pop and crisps. That's how it works. So it was a great day. Last time we sponsored, I think it was against Burnley, the last game, the home Burnley game we sponsored, and that was a great day as well. So, and all the stuff went, before we had nothing left at the end of the day. So so you got to get there early and get your tokens in and register your kids. You'll get free pop and crisps. So looking forward to it.
Super. I love it. Absolutely love it. And the kids love it as well. If it wasn't for the family zone, our Will wouldn't be supporting Coventry now, because when we were in League Two, he was getting so bullied at school, but the family zone kept him going. And then all my family as well, my cousins and that take their kids up there now, and new generations of fans coming through, and they do a wonderful job, Pat. And
they do a fantastic job.
The other volunteers.
It's all volunteers. Yeah, they don't get paid for it, so it's all voluntary. They do a fantastic job. So get down there, support them, and come along. They have put some fantastic events on at the home matches. So take your kids down and have a look. So Sky Blue Sam will be wandering around as well. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for the kids to have photos with Sky Blue Sam as well.
Brilliant. So. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, listen, I've got another announcement to make. Now, this is a special announcement. Been working on this for quite a while with a lovely chap called Matt Pearson. Now, Max makes a lot of board games. He makes a lot of card games. He's done a boxing card game called Toe to Toe, if you want to have a look at that on YouTube. Also, he's got a page on Facebook as well. Very interesting game indeed. Now, a week Sunday on the 18th of January, between 12 and 6, you can come and play and maybe pre-order, if you like it that much, an unofficial CCFC Legends board game. Now, trust me, it's been about 9 months making this thing.
Yes.
And Max asked me to get involved. I've got involved. I've just not stopped with everything going on at the moment. It's just gone crazy. But Max is fantastic. And we're going to be doing this up at the Fargo Village on the 18th of January. And it will be in a place which is called the Surprise Scene Counter. So it's like a gaming area up there. And you can come along, try out the board game between 12 and 6. If you do want a time slot to come and try it, please DM me on Facebook, not through Sky Blue Fans TV. I just thought I'd announce it tonight. If you can DM me on Facebook, then or on Twitter at Milesy, then we can get you a time slot. You will love it. It's got 24 legends on the board.
Yeah. We've had a little play with it, haven't we? We've played it, and I've looked at it. It's very good, very good. Yeah,
yeah, and it is good. You'll love it. It's all eras of Cov City players, all the way from way back up until present day. So it's something you can really get your teeth into, and it'd be a fantastic birthday present, or a late Christmas present, or even keep it for a Christmas present at the end of this year. So come along. Fargo Village, 12 till 6 on the 18th. Is it 18th, 15th? 18th. Yeah, 18th. 18th. I had to double check then. 18th of January, Fargo Village. Come and see us between 12 and 6. It's fantastic. You'll love it. And that's it, isn't it, Ken? That's
it. There is no more. Yeah. Well, what a fantastic show it's been. We've had some great guests and nice clips from Tuesday night from the fans forum.
Yeah.
Announced the competition winners. We're just looking for a positive result now on Saturday.
Yeah.
All going well. So we can get our names into the hat for the next round.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully draw, a Premier League team maybe. But we'll have to get by this one first. So let's see how we go on Saturday. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, that's it for tonight then. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone that's taken part, thanks for your comments. Don't forget you can like and subscribe us on Facebook. You can like and subscribe on Twitter and also on YouTube. Please do. We've got loads coming up in the future. And let's just hope the Sky Blues do get through this third round, and then let's get Spurs away. That'd be fantastic. Fourth round, wouldn't it? That'd be superb. But yeah, so that's a good night for myself. Play up, Sky Blues, and Ken.
Yeah, very good night to you all. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. And we'll see you all at the Fans Village on a live stream on Saturday.
Yeah, 4:30 live stream. Get down there. If not, watch us live. Take care. Good night.
Yeah,
Play up,
good night.
Sky Blues.
Play up, Sky Blues.